Assalamu alaikum dear students. I am Miss Shafkat, a concerned teacher of SSC subject from Kashmir Public School, Unisoo, Handwara. Welcome to class 8th of Geography, Resource and Development. Dear learners, today in this lecture we will discuss on the topic that is agriculture, which is chapter number 4 of your textbook. So, this chapter is about knowing all the science and art behind agriculture. Don't worry about science part. It is going to be all plain and simple. With no further ado, let's begin. Now, dear students, first we will know what is meant by the word agriculture. The word agriculture is derived from two Latin words. That is agar, or its another name is agri, and the another Latin word is culture. This agar or agri, both the terms with the same meaning, that is soil, and this culture means cultivation. If we combine these two words, this become a soil cultivation. Or in nutshell, we can say cultivation of soil is called agriculture. Okay, dear students. Now, dear students, first we will know what is the classic definition of agriculture is the science and art of cultivation on the soil, raising crops and rearing livestock. We can also call it as a farming. So it is also called farming. I hope this definition is plain and clear. Now, dear students, let's turn towards your textbook. In your textbook, here is a story about farmer. Dear learners, this story is important to read and learn for you because you can only easily understand through this story the activities of agriculture. What is the story? First, we will read the story. There are some children, namely Gurpreet, Madhav, Tina, were walking through the village where they saw a farmer tilling land. Here is a point, tilling land. What does tilling land mean? To loosen up the land, to convert, or we can say to turn it into soil. Okay? The farmer told to the children that he was growing wheat and had added manure to the soil to make it more fertile. So, the farmer told them that he added a manure. What does manure mean? Manure means some organic matter that makes our soil fertile. So, why this farmer used this manure? He used this so that his soil became a fertile, so that he can consume a good crop. And after consuming a good crop, then he can get a good price for this crop. So after consuming a good crop, the wheat would fetch a good price in the mandi, from mandi where it would be taken to factories, and from factories to make it bread and biscuits from that wheat flour. So dear students, that means from this wheat flour, a finished product can be made. Dear students, now in the above story, we saw some process how wheat grow, then it is economic activity, and after processing to get a finished product. Okay, dear students. Now this transformation from a plant to a finished product involves three types of economic activities. These three economic activities are, the first one is primary, secondary, and tertiary activity. First we will discuss the first activity, that is primary activity. What does this primary activity mean? When there is extraction and production. What? Extraction and production of natural resources. Okay, this activity is known as primary activity. Okay, we take here some examples of this primary activity that are agriculture. This is a primary activity. Another example we can say fishing, that is the primary activity, and gathering. This is also an example of primary activity. Gathering. Okay, dear students. Now we will take the another activity, that is secondary activity. In this activity, when there is processing, What? Here is processing. Processing of what? Processing of natural resources. Okay. That means manufacturing. That is manufacturing. What type of manufacturing? Processing of natural resources. That is manufacturing. Manufacturing. We will take some examples from this secondary activity. That is, we can manufacturing of steel, baking of bread, okay, weaving of cloths. These are some examples of secondary activity. Okay, now go ahead in the third one, that is tertiary activity. This tertiary activity supports this both primary and secondary activity. These two, this primary and secondary activity. Okay, and this also provides services. So that means here it provides services. Like, it provides services like transport, trade, banking, and also we can say through advertising. So these are the some examples of this tertiary activity. Okay, dear students. Now we will take an example from the above story which I have read before this topic. That the farmer here took the wheat grain first and sowed it. Then when the wheat grew, he extracted the wheat. This activity is called primary activity. And after that extraction of wheat, it taken to the factories to make bread and biscuits. Okay, so this is secondary activity, or we can say in secondary activity here we can manufacture the things. Okay, students. Now when that bread or biscuits reach us or reach to the market, then we can say this activity is a tertiary activity. How it reached to us? Through transport, through trade, through banking, or by advertising. Okay, dear students. Now go ahead. Dear learners, this agriculture, here in this topic we are discussing about the agriculture. What is this agriculture? Which type of activity this is? This agriculture is a primary activity. Okay, as it includes, why this is a primary activity? As it includes growing crops, fruits, vegetables, flowers, or rearing of livestock. Okay, now if we look onto the global picture, we have nearly about 50% of persons that are engaged in agriculture. How many percent of people? 50% of persons. And 50% of persons are engaged in agriculture. And in India, here is nearly 2/3 of population. What about 2/3? That is engaged in agriculture. So here we easily understand that this agriculture definitely forms a major or substantial portion of total economic condition. Okay, dear students, for agriculture activity, how we can do this activity? For this agricultural activity, we must have a favorable topography of soil and climate. What? Soil and climate. Why this soil and climate is important? Because it plays a vital role in order to cultivate land. Okay, dear students, the land on which the crops are grown, on which we can do this agricultural activity, we can say this we can do this agricultural activity, that land is known as arable land. What we can say that land? Arable land. What does arable land means? The land that is capable of producing crops. हम लिखेंगे यहाँ पे capable of producing crops, or in another word we can say suitable for farming. What? Suitable for farming. Okay, dear learners. Dear students, now Do you know? Here I give you some additional information. Here is a term, this culture. You are looking towards this. If we add some few terms before this culture, it gives a different meanings and makes a different new terms. First, if we add before this culture agri and join these two, this become a agriculture. What does agriculture mean? The science and art of cultivation on the soil, as I have told this earlier in this lecture. And the second one, if we add Sri before this culture and we combine these two terms, this become a Sri culture. And what does sericulture mean? It means commercial rearing of silkworms. Okay. And the third one, if we add before culture a pisci and join these two words, it becomes a pisciculture. What does pisciculture mean? Breeding of fish. Okay, dear students, the fourth one is viti. When we add this with a culture, it become a viticulture, cultivation of grapes. And the last one, that is horti. We add this with a culture, this become a horticulture. Horticulture means growing vegetables, flower and fruits for commercial use. Now students, I hope you all have understand this lecture clearly. Inshallah, in the next lecture we will discuss on the topic form system, what are its types. Hope you all have enjoyed. Allah Hafiz.